Weston Baptist Chapel. Welcome to day number 2 of Via Dolorosa, the road that Jesus walked to suffering where he chose to die on Calvary. Today, we pick up in Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 23. Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About that time, some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem asking, "Where is the newborn king of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." King Herod was deeply disturbed when he heard this, as was everyone in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah. For a ruler will come from you, who will be the shepherd for my people Israel." Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. When you find him, come back and tell me, so that I can go and worship him too." After this interview, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. Matthew addresses the birth of Jesus, and it is about the birth of the king. Compares Jesus with Herod, the earthly king, which has no comparison. Describes the people coming to honor Jesus. Wise men from the nations brought gifts. Shows how heaven predicts Jesus' birth. The stars declared it. Shows God protecting Jesus. Herod cannot kill him. Shows Jesus living in a simple, unassuming family. Think about how God announces the birth of his son Jesus. We are adopted children of God. Do not forget this, even when we find ourselves in circumstances we don't understand. A day is coming when God will declare it, and he will do a great job of announcing his children. God made the announcement of Christ in a simple yet special way. Worship that special event. Jesus was placed in a simple home. This should encourage us. Will God announce you as his child? Let's continue reading, picking up at verse number 13. After the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother." The angel said, "Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." That night, Joseph left for Egypt with the child and Mary, his mother, and they stayed there until Herod's death. This fulfilled what the Lord had spoken through the prophet, "I called my son out of Egypt." Herod was furious when he realized that the wise men had outwitted him. He sent soldiers to kill all the boys in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under, based on the wise men's reports of the star's first appearance. Herod's brutal action fulfilled what God had spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A cry was heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning. Rachel weeps for her children, refusing to be comforted, for they are dead. God is protecting his people by giving them a dream to go to Egypt. Before Egypt put Israel into slavery and bondage, it was a place of protection. Israel never forgot that. So going to Egypt for protection was something they expected God would do. God fulfills 2 prophecies in this passage. The Jewish people knew about these prophecies and that God will fulfill them with the Messiah. They now have a reason for a terrible massacre of little children. We often ask God, "Why did you allow this to happen?" This was a case where the people finally found out. It was years later, but God gave them the answer. Are you waiting for answers? Let God reveal it in his time. Do you need direction from God? Keep a close ear to his voice. He will give it. We pray for direction and answers, but struggle with what he gives. Listen carefully to his word. Respond just as quickly as Joseph did, even if it is difficult and may not make sense. Prayers can take a long time to get answers to things that do not make any sense. Wait for him to reveal why he is allowing what he is allowing. Learn from these passages that he will give us the answers in due time. Keep walking in faith until that time. Let's pick up at verse 19. When Herod died, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt. "Get up," the angel said. "Take the child and his mother back to the land of Israel, because those who were trying to kill the child are dead." So Joseph got up and returned to the land of Israel with Jesus and his mother. But when he learned that the new ruler of Judea was Herod's son, Archelaus, he was afraid to go there. And after being warned in a dream, he left for the region of Galilee. So the family went and lived in a town called Nazareth. This fulfilled what the prophets had said: he would be called a Nazarene. We can trust God to speak to us no matter what situation we face. Is it obvious what we should do? Wait and listen, because God will show us. Is the situation difficult or dangerous? Wait and listen, because God will show us what to do. Jesus grows up in a place no one expected him to. Everyone expected him to grow up in Bethlehem, but God had other plans. This passage explains to the Jewish people why Jesus had to grow up in Nazareth, for protection and to fulfill prophecy. Otherwise, it would make no sense to them. Ask the Father to teach you how to wait for him for an answer whenever we face difficult situations. We need to have hearts that wait, listen carefully, and obey. Don't rush, listen to the world, or hesitate in obedience. Thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow as we read Matthew chapter 3, verses 1 to 17. God bless.